Crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you how I made this card using the Birthday Memories suite. Just as I was finishing this card off, I'm afraid I had a bit of an accident and I've got some ink on the side there and it's gone through there. But like most of our mistakes, these can be sorted out, and after the video what I'll be doing is I will be cutting off all the white so that I can put that onto another card base. Likewise, I will do the same with the inside as well. So I would just like to very quickly explain to you what the Birthday Memories suite is. If you buy the bundle, you save 10% and you get 3 items. You get the designer series paper, which is the characters, and you get the stamps and you get dies. Now, these little characters that I've got here, if I can show you the designer series paper, you can see where it's all been coming from. Okay, so these are all the different dogs, and obviously with our designer series paper there is a design on the back. So that one dog has a die to go with it, and it's the one who's walking with his nose in the air. Now this one, there are 3 dies for this one. You can die cut the balloons, that parcel and the hat, and again there's a design on the back. This one you can die cut one of the cakes. I think it's that one there with the 4 candles on, and there's a design on the back. I quite like that one. And then this one, I think you can die cut, no you can't, oh yes you can, it's the fox you can die cut on this one, and also the banner. Oh, that's that parcel again, and you could do the balloons. Just such a brilliant set this is, and that's a nice set as well. You can die cut that bunch of flowers, and also the hat again, party hat. And on this one it's the little girl that you can die cut. Nothing on that one. And on here you can die cut the fox and the banner and the balloons again. It's absolutely superb, and a bright stripy design on the back, ideal for children. So what I do is, as I cut my little, if I show you, yeah, we'll show you this one. When I cut out my shapes, I finish up with bits and pieces falling off, and I put them all on one side and I'm putting them in a bag, because I'm sure that I will come up with a design where I'm quite happy just to use part of a dog, like from there upwards. So I'm not going to throw them away yet until I finally decided. In fact, I can see my little pile here of the ones that I'm saving. That, for example, from the little girl, I've used the cake in there. I cut one of those out. I'm saving that because I know I can die cut that one. That would be a fussy cut, and that would be a die cut. So, whether I'll use them, I don't know, but I'm keeping them just in case. This was the second card I made. This was the first one, which is the one that I posted on my blog. But what I've done is I've changed the card round. Whereas I used a coloured card here, I used a white one here. And then I put the blue layer, and when I had the green base I put the white layer on it, and I definitely prefer it like this. It looks as if it's got a better frame. And on this one, because I've only got, this is Dapper Blue, and because I've only got retired ribbon, I thought instead of using that I would use white cardstock instead, but that didn't prove to be a particularly good idea, because the Whisper White I think is a bit thinner than the other cardstock, although it might be that it's just because it's white. You know, Dapper Blue probably wouldn't have shown through, but with the white it left a ridge, so I've had to put a second layer on it. So for my card I'm still following this colour scheme, but I'm going to use retired ribbon. If you don't have Dapper Blue, you could always use white retired ribbon. Right, that's enough waffling from me. I'll just show you the stamp set quickly. Okay, so these are the ones that you can die cut. And on here, it's the girl, little girl. You can die cut the back of her, and on the designer series paper, it's the front of her. Okay, so very, very well coordinated. Right, as usual, we start off with our card pieces. So the card base is Whisper White, and this measures 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, which is 21 by 14.5 centimetres. And then 2 layers of Dapper Denim, and these measure 4 inches by 5 5/8 inches, which is 10.25 by 14.25 centimetres. A layer of Whisper White, this is for the inside, and this measures 3 5/8 inches by 5 1/2 inches, which is 10 by 14 centimetres. And then you need some designer series paper, and this comes from the Colour Theory DSP. And the 2 sheets that I've used, I brought them out to show, so that I can show you. That one is quite obvious where that one's come from. That's that. But this one here and this one on here has come from this sheet. Okay, which is on the back of that one. Because I don't think it's very obvious where that one came from. So these 2 pieces, this one measures 2 1/2 inches by 5 1/2 inches, which is 6.3 by 14 centimetres. This one measures 1 3/8 inches by 5 1/2 inches, which is 3.5 by 14 centimetres. And then you need 3 pieces of white cardstock, which are approximately 3 inches by 1 1/2 inches, 2 1/2 by 2 1/2 inches, and 1 3/4 by 2 1/2 inches. Now in metric, that is 7.6 by 3.8, 6.3 by 6.3, and 4.5 by 6.3. When I first started making this card, I didn't realise that I wanted to use dimensionals, and then once I started using dimensionals, I thought these aren't really strong enough because it's designer series paper. I didn't think they were strong enough to support itself, so I devised a way of counteracting that even. So the 2 shapes that I'm going to use the white for, they need die cutting. And I also need 3 balloons. I've die cut 2 already, so I need another one done. So I'll bring the big shot over first and do my cutting. Right, don't need that one for the moment. Put the wrong one away, didn't I? Right, so for the little girl, I'm going to be using that. That's for the balloon, and that's for the dog. So there's no reason why I can't do all 3 at once, is there? Right, so we line up the little girl first, and then the dog. And then the balloon. Because I've got the 3 balloons all in a bunch on my card, I'm not worried that about getting some kind of a backing onto these. They are really supporting each other, so that's fine. Right, make sure they didn't move. Right, that's good. Right, again, I'm going to save that in case I need the cakes. Obviously I'm going to finish up with enough cakes to open up a shop, but no doubt I'll start throwing them away eventually. So that's the dog, the little girl, and the balloon. Right, so the balloon is okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to die cut the shapes again for the girl and the dog, and then I can adhere these on the back of the images I've already die cut, and it will give them a really good backing so I can use dimensionals and not worry that they're going to start bending and collapsing. Okay, there's that one, and then there's the dog. Right, let's pop those back, and then we can move this out of the way. Now, I don't know whether you noticed, but the story my card is telling is the little girl is protecting her cake. The dog's begging for it, and this one, I don't know whether he's going to craftily sneak it, but he's looking as if batter wouldn't melt in his mouth. But it's a nice little story for children, I think. And I also think that with all the other dogs and the little girl, you could make up loads of other stories. Right, so first of all I'm going to adhere these together. Let's just push that little bit out. Right, I don't think I sorted out my silicone mat, did I? And right now, don't know where it is. So let me just get a sheet of paper. And I'll use Tombow. And if you use Tombow, these really are so easy to adhere together, because you've got those extra few seconds to move this. When you put the dog on or the little girl on, it's just so easy just to move those. Okay, perfection. Didn't move that a little bit from between his legs either. So there we go, that's that one. And then for the little girl, that on, and then just manoeuvre it into place. So that's nice. Those we're not worrying about. And then the other dog, this one here, he needs to have the cardstock behind him, in my opinion, but there's no die for that. So I adhere my image onto a piece of cardstock, and then I fussy cut it. And the reason I stuck this earlier was because I wanted it to have a chance to dry before I started cutting. And when you do cut this, if you have a look at this one, this is the die cut one, and it's got quite a wide white area around it. On my first card, I didn't leave very much white at all, and I think it, to me, once I'd noticed it, it looked quite obvious. So do try and leave a larger, wider white space on your card. These aren't terribly difficult to fussy cut, but I do know that quite a lot of people don't like doing this. And if you're new to fussy cutting, you'll find that it's a lot easier if you move your cardstock rather than moving your scissors. The only bit that I find a bit difficult is once I get around the pom-pom on his tail. So I'm going to go straight across and come back to that in a moment. Just finish the rest of it first. I don't worry too much about going inside the ears because it's white inside there, and I was going to say it's going on white, but well, yes, he's almost going on white, so it's hardly noticeable anyway. I'm still thinking I'm doing the first blue card where I used the white strip. There we go. So that's that bit done. Now to do round here. One of these days I'm going to be doing this and I'm going to snip a little bit too hard and I will cut that bit off. I can't see where I'm going at all. Oh, that's better. Patience and perseverance. There we go. It's normally quite easy to tell whether you've done it all right by placing it on your hand because it helps the white show up. And the only thing that I really look for is if I've got any pointy bits, like on that bit of tail there, that's pointy. Just snip that little bit off. There we go. Otherwise I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do now is start putting my card together. And I'll move, make sure I've got the right two here. Yep, those two can go over there. So what I need to do is, if I do these first, because I want to put my ribbon around them. So I'll just bring my piece of paper back for gluing. Here we go. So I just judge it so they've got the same gap all the way round on three sides here, and hopefully straight. I think that's it, isn't it? And then this one, and I want the darker one at the top. Now again, line it up for the outside edge. If you've got a gap between the two layers, or one overlaps the other, it doesn't matter because we're going to put a ribbon over it anyway. And mine's gone over. There we go, that's fine. I've got a bit of glue on there now. But that's alright, that'll come off. So this is a ribbon I'm using. It's the first one that Stampin' Up bought out when they bought out Dapper Denim. Oh, I need some glue. Didn't bring my snail over with me or my fast fuse. I'll have to get that because I can't use Tombow on that bit. Right, there we go. So a little bit of fast fuse at the back where I want my... Oops. That's what happens if you don't break the glue. Oh, there's my rubbish bin. Right, okay, so pop that one over and then try and get it straight with that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one there. I think that's okay. Slightly up, isn't it? We're not worrying about that though. Right, now I'm going to pop this bit on here. Make sure I've got it round the right way. So this will be Tombow again. Let's take that bit off, we don't need that. Always put a little bit extra on my ribbon just to make sure that doesn't go walkabouts. In fact, it looks like that gluey bit on there is going to get covered up anyway. Right, there we go. One of the disadvantages I found of, excuse me while I get comfy, having cardstock here was it was difficult to get the string under for the balloons. Right, now I'm using white baker's twine, and I'm going to put some string on the balloons first. And I don't know if anybody has still got some of this. I'm nearly at the end of it, but where I think nearly all of our baker's twine now comes on rolls rather than these packs. And the thing is with these packs, you do get these, I don't know if I can show you whether I've got enough room here. Put it on the, yes, there we go. How you get these quite creased corners on them. In fact, it looks as if I've already sorted that one out. But let's see if I can find another bit. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm trying to say. Those bits there. I'll show you a tip for getting rid of those. And that is, if you use something moist, this is a baby wipe, and you just pull this through something that's wet, like that, and you will find it more or less gets rid of those creases. Okay, that's where one was. It's really very, very good. Obviously that makes it a bit wet, so you need time to dry, but this is the one that I did earlier. No, I used the one that I did earlier, didn't I? Because I cut these ones off. But I thought that it wouldn't matter because I'm just tying bows. So I've got my 3. in fact I cut 4, I can see there's another one up there, and I've done 2 bows, so I'll do another one. This is why I don't worry about the creases when I'm doing bows, because that just forms nicely there, and that one could go there as well. I mean, they move along. You just want to get the bow as small as you can. So just keep pulling. And then eventually pull it really nice and tight. Then one more. There we go. And just cut those off. Okay, so now I've got the other end's going to be straight for when I need more string, and one end bent for these. Right, so what I do is with my balloons first, I just put some Tombow along the back. Pop that in there. And just make sure your string is glued so it's coming right down from the bottom bit there, the where the knot has been tied in the balloon. And then that one as well. Now I'm going to put those on my card with dimensionals. So the top 2, I'm not really worried which order the colours go in. I make this bottom part of the balloon, the bit where the knot has been tied, go outwards, and then the next one's going to go outwards in the other direction. And I just slide them so that I can feel the dimensional hitting up the edge of the balloon there. So that's how I know they've got a nice amount of support between them. And then this one comes up from the bottom, and again I'm going to slide it until I can feel the dimensional hit against those, which it has done. Now I want these to go underneath, and I'm going to put a little bit of Tombow. So what I'll do is I'm just going to cut off the amount that I need gone, not too short, otherwise if it's got to come sideways, like this one's got to come over, you don't want it so short that it's not going to make it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of Tombow down here. I've just pulled this back, and a little 1/4 of an inch line, I suppose, and then put my first one on there, but I do try not to pull it tight. I don't need a bit more glue, didn't do that far enough. That's better. There we go, so that's going to hold those down. Oh no, I need to put my bows on now. So tiny dot of Tombow on there, there, there. You may prefer to use glue dots on that bit. So there's 1. 2, 3. Now for the little girl, I'll start her off first, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1 big dimensional there, 1 small one, another big one there rather, and have you seen these fabulous mini dimensionals? Look how small these are. Let me show you up against these. I imagine they're about 1/3 of the size, possibly 1/4. Right, I know that's got to be by the hem, and I think the next one had to be by the elbows. So that the dimensionals go over the ribbon. And she's got to come a little bit down. Let's just stand that up. Yep, that's alright. Now the dog that's begging, is he going to cover up that glue? No, let me just get my eraser. There we go, that's better. All gone. Right, now for him, how did we do this? We have 1 big one for the head. We had 1 small one for his tail. And I think we have 1 small one for his feet. Look how brilliantly they fit in. Now that doesn't look enough to me, so we have 1 by his waist. Make that a small one. So that's that. And then above, by his paws, so that can definitely be a small one as well. There we go. These mini dimensionals are a brilliant addition to our products. The amount of times I spend cutting my dimensionals down to get them to fit. Right, that's good, yep, that fits nicely. And then the dog that looks as if he's got the cream, we need just 1 for his head. Do I want 1 for his ears? Could have a little one now, couldn't I? Pop that up the top. No, not for his tail there, unless I push him up higher. No, I don't want him to go higher. Alright, let's just do down below there. We have 1 there. Now move on to small. And again, these fit into these really nicely. There we go, that should be nice there. Oh, I should have done my sentiment before I stuck the begging dog on there. Never mind, I'm sure I can get round it. Oops. Right, now again, do this without touching the sentiments, or the ribbon rather. Yep, that's fine, that's good. Now I'm going to do the sentiment, which comes from the stamp set. There's 2 here that I really like actually. This is the one that I'm using. And I love this, really love that. I think it's brilliant. In fact, all in all, I just think this is an absolutely brilliant bundle. Now I'm using Dapper Denim ink. This is the one that I splodged on my card there. Right, pull this down towards me. Lovely photopolymer. There we go. That's good. Straight, I think. Right, we don't need ink again, so let's put it away before I do any damage with it. And now I'm going to bring these other two layers in. Pop these together. And I have to admit that the two bits that I'm going to put in here I have already fussy cut. That, pop it inside here, just line it up with the edging. Right, now the ones that I fussy cut this time, I've got the dog that's down on the ground there, and I got two little cakes for him. What was the one that I did in there? Oh yeah, he had the bigger cake. This one's got two little cakes. Right, so this is just going to be glued in. You can use Snell if you want to. Oops. I am being very messy with this glue. Right, one of the cakes is going to have to go there because that's one splodge of glue. There's another bit up there, but I'll wait till that's dried and I can move that. So there we go, he's got his two cakes. There was something else that I did earlier which I made a mistake on. Let me show you that one because I think, yeah, that had a different story. It was a dog with the balloon, but as you can see I stuck it the wrong way round. But that's okay, I'll use that for another card. Won't be wasted. Right, yep, I can close that, that's alright. So there we go, that's today's project. I hope you like the ideas that I've given you. Loads of different stories you could make up with these characters, and children would be absolutely delighted with them, I'm sure. So many thanks for joining me today. If you have any questions or any comments you'd like to make, please leave them in the box below the video. I'm always happy to help, or you can email me at janb@janbcards.com. If you'd like to purchase any of the products that I featured here today, there'll be a link for my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop in the box below. And if you've enjoyed watching my video, please click on the subscribe button, and then you'll be notified each time I upload a new one, which is normally Wednesdays and Sundays. And finally, I will list all the measurements and all the products that I've used in the box below, and I will also put them on my video, on my website. So you can find it all here. You don't have to go over there unless you want to, which I'm sure you'll be pleased that you did, because I normally post a new card every day. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.